Well, y'all, Saturday morning, and it's raining. So, looked at the weather forecast, and it's supposed to rain all day here in Florida. Go figure. That's why everybody's always sick down here. It'd be 40 degrees one day, 85 degrees the next, sun shining one day, raining the next day. Me and Fat Baby's had enough of it, ain't we, baby? Yeah. Well, you know what that means. That means we're going to get around there on the carport today and enclose the carport. I've got all the sheet wood for enclosing the carport. So, that's what we're going to do today. But first, I'm going to enjoy this cup of coffee. Then I got to unload a couple things out of the back of the truck, take the garbage to the dump, and then I'll be back working on the carport. Well, like a dummy, I left my little hatch cover off. I mean, I left it off on purpose. I wasn't expecting on it to start rain, but anyway, being I left it off, it rained inside the boat a little bit, but it ain't no biggie. It's a boat, meant to be wet on the inside and outside, it don't matter. But I got up here and I swept, this is all dry now, all that gel coat's dry. Swept off all the standing water and just giving y'all a little overhead view. Definitely got to renovate that hatch cover. It's busted on that side, so I gotta figure out a way to fix that side of the hatch when the time comes, and I'll show you the back where we filled the holes with peanut butter. So here's that. Here's, you can see the holes. It's got the peanut butter about up to the top. I'm gonna sand when I get a chance, not today, but when I get a chance, I'm gonna sand all that smooth and then top those holes off. If the peanut butter don't come up and out of the holes, I'm going to top each one of those holes off with fiberglass resin and let it kind of overflow up onto the deck a little bit. When it cures, sand it back down smooth and then put little baby fiberglass, like tear off little pieces of fiberglass and put them over each hole. Do them and then sand them smooth too. And then finish sanding this rear deck and gel coat this rear deck. I think I'm going to, whenever I get a chance to do all of the rest of the gel coats on the front deck, after that I'm going to do all the gel coats on the back deck. And the new deck that I built will be the last thing that I do. Because maybe if, because you got to think that's a longer deck, so I can climb up this ladder well and be standing on this deck that's finished and roll out about halfway. If I put my roller on a stick, I could roll out about halfway with the roller. Then I can get off the boat, go around, hop up on the front deck, stand up there, and then roll from the front back to the middle. That way I can get this deck from both ends. The first coat I could just stand on top of the deck itself and I could do the whole first coat on, you know, just backing my way off the deck. But whenever that coat gets tacky, I'm gonna have to get from the halfway point to the back and then get off and get from the halfway point to the front. So I plan on doing about 3 or 4 coats, and then on the final coat I'll put all that sand stuff to give you a traction if the roof is wet. And in the past I've always did splatter coat, like on pontoon boat decks and stuff. I've always did the color of the pontoon boat, and then I'd put like a opposite color for splatter, put webbing solution in it and splatter it all over the deck, to how them boat gel coat guys do. But I think I'm just gonna leave it gray. It's just gonna be solid gray from front to back. But that white little 45-degree angle thing here that I said I wanted it to be white on that little leading edge of this upper deck, that front piece is gonna be white, and this rear piece is going to be white. And y'all are probably thinking, why the hell does he want to do that? Well, number one, I think when you're looking at the boat from the side, I think if that side is white instead of gray, it'll go with the color scheme of the boat better. And number two, if there's a drunk person up on the roof, namely me, that different color will remind that person, hey, this is a step. So if they go from gray and they're walking along all drunk, hey, what the heck is that different color there? Oh, that's a step up. Yeah. So step up, don't fall on your face. And then come up here, and it'll be gray roof, white behind this blue tape, and then gray roof. So it'll be a reminder that it's a step, and it'll be a reminder that it's a step. So those are the couple reasons why I'm doing it that way. And this side cap, this is going to be white also. So, because see, the side of the boat's white. What is light blue right now is going to be dark blue, and I didn't want this to be gray, because then it'd be going gray, blue, white. Just figured that's too busy. So that'll be white, dark blue, and white viewed from the side. But viewed from the top, it'll be gray, white stripe to remind you that it's a step, gray, white stripe to remind you that it's a step, and gray. Alright, I'm out of here. Look, y'all, I come inside to get the keys for the side-by-side and the hoop to move it out of the carport so I can cut up the sheets of wood and stuff under the carport, and look, old sock's spoiled to death. Alright, back out under the carport. I got my wife's side-by-side and my hoot out of here, and I got my skill saw set up. Here's my stack of plywood. Forgive the mess, y'all. I've got all kinds of projects stacked up in here. But here's 5 4x8 sheets of T111, I think it's called. But it matches the existing sheet wood that was put on here probably back in the, good lord, I don't know. The house was built in the 50s, so I imagine this shop was built not too long after that. But anyway, I'm tired of coming down my dirt road seeing these little Lowe's Tyvek crap on the outside, so I guess that's a good thing. It's raining, but I got a dang cable spool here that I plan on making a dining room table out of. I've seen people do that on the internet, so they just throw these reels away at work. So I grabbed one about dining room table size, and I plan on making that into a dining room table. I got these shelves. I gotta cut these shelves down, and I'm gonna put shelves in my wife's dressing room, and that's why this whole bay is taken up right now. But hopefully I can start getting some of that stuff out of there, and I'm gonna start with getting this plywood on the outside of here. It's gonna be a little bit tricky for me anyway. I ain't a carpenter by any means, but more or less this wall is, you can say it's level more or less, but as the slab goes down, the slab contours go downhill, and I think this part of the header is more or less level, but once you get to that post, that 4x4 post, the shop roof starts going downhill. So I'm gonna have flat backs side of the wood, but the top and the bottom's gonna have angles I gotta cut on them. So that's what I'm gonna deal with. So alright, let me get busy instead of quit yakking. I've already yacked enough. Alright, got the first cut made. It's 93 inches tall. I'm gonna show you what I got rigged up outside to help me, because I'm doing it myself. Oh look, Fat Baby come to join us. Alright, here's what I'm doing. Got me a little foot jack. Help me lift it up so I could slap a screw in it. I'll set the 4x8 sheet of wood on the end of that piece of wood, and then I could step on it to raise it up to the correct level, which the correct level is when the sheet of wood hits that rafter. That's what I'm aiming for. And then I'll have some screws already countersunken, or not countersunk, but just barely threaded into the sheet of wood, and I could pop the screw in real quick, and hopefully the screw will hold it for me while I put some other screws in it. Alright, here we go. Alright, I just got this sheet of plywood leaned against out here. I've got a screw started here and a screw started here. They're square with each other. I did a 90-degree square, and they're directly across from each other, so that's going to be the screw line I'm going to try to follow from one end of the shop to the other. But now I'm fixing to set it on that foot jack, raise it up to where the top of the board hits the rafter, pop them couple screws in, and then I can step back and make sure everything's square and start popping screws along there, along these edges and stuff. And this is this edge. These are kind of like I ain't gonna call them tongue and groove, but they fit together a certain way. This is got a milled out face right here, and this other side has a milled out backside. So they fit together a certain way. I got to pay attention which way I cut these things. That way the next sheet of plywood, it'll slip over like this. If I accidentally cut it wrong, I'll have these two ends bumping together. So I got to make sure I pay attention what I'm doing here. But anyway, let's see how I do. There we go, check it out. Foot jack worked like a charm. Got the edges tight together. Got it tight up to the rafters. Now the bottom is what I'm going to have to come back and trim off. I think I've decided I'm just going to leave a little overhang on the bottom, and then I'll come back at the end and scribe a line across the bottom where I want the bottom of it cut off. And if I need to, I'll dig a little trench along the edge of this slab, and I'll get in there and turn the skill saw sideways and just barely set it where the skill saw teeth is just the same depth as the wood, and right on through there. That's the plan anyway. I'll probably have to move that 9 million pound sheet of steel there. But alright, so far so good. I think I'm going to zip some screws into this guy and then measure and cut the next piece. Alright, got the first sheet on. Got all the screws running in a perfectly horizontal line, square to the edge of the existing. So I got one more row to do down at the bottom, but all the rest of the screws is done. I'm fixing to cut the second sheet down for slipping up under this eave and connecting to this board. What I've done is I'm going to be screwing it. I'm going to be overlapping the wood here, just like by, I don't know, a fingertip, and I'm going to screw through both boards into the center of that stud. And what I've done is, I don't know how accurate of a measurement it would be if I clip the tape measure on where the next sheet of plywood hooks here and I go out 16" to center. I don't know if that center is truly going to fall on this stud. So what I've done is I've measured from this edge right here, not where they hook, not where they meet, but I've measured from this edge, and I've measured out to the center of the first stud and the center of the second stud, and the measurements I got was 17 3/4 for the dead center of the first stud, 33 1/2 for dead center of the second stud. I didn't need to measure this third stud because this is going to be where the sheet of plywood ends, and I'll see that. So that's my way of figuring stuff out. I'm sure professional carpenters are probably laughing at me, but that's how I figured it out for myself. So fixing to cut this piece of wood now. Alright, got the second piece cut and laid up in there. I figured y'all get a kick out of this. Got a helping hand here. Got a battery on my little foot jack thing I made. holding the sheet pressed up against the rafter for me. Wish old little fat socks would come around here and stand on that thing for me. But now I got to verify that this is pushed up tight, and then I'm going to lay my grid out. Where'd them screws go? Here they are. Here's the screw line. Gonna verify that's pushed up tight. Actually, this is the seam right here. I was showing you the wrong seam. Make sure this is pushed up tight right here. Continue my screw grid across there. So, alright. That's what me and my little battery helper's fixing to do. There we go. Got 2 sheets in. I used a little battery on the seesaw piece of wood jack thing I made down there to jack it up to the rafters for me, and then I used a little clamp over here where the wood meets to clamp it to the rafter going this way, so it'll hold that corner tight for me. And then I use the level to continue on the wood screws going out level, and they'll be level all the way out to the end. So I don't just like doing screws here and there. I kind of, everything I've ever built, I always like doing the screws all in a row, you know. So, but anyway, all right. So now this is where it's going to get funky. This is where the roof pitches down. From that rafter right there, the roof pitches down, and I think the concrete slab actually starts taking a more drastic downward turn also. But at the same time, this backbone, that stud, is square straight up and down. So I believe on this one I'm gonna come out a little ways square with the top of the wood, and then I'm gonna have to do a down angle on the top, and on the bottom I think I'm gonna have to do a down angle for the whole deal. So we'll see. I'll just be doing some trial fits till I get it right. Alright, using my 4-foot level, I've determined that from where the sheet meets the other sheet out 4 foot, this top part is 1 9/16 inches lower on this end. And using the level, I use that little block of wood there, put the level on top of the wood, come out here, made the level, and I put a mark, and I put a mark where it was level, and I put a mark at the bottom of the 2x4 stud that I put along the concrete, and it's a 2-inch difference. So a 2-inch difference on the bottom, 1 9/16 difference on the top. The sheet needs to be cut 94 inches tall from point A to point B on this side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the sheet 96.5. We'll go 96.5, and that'll allow me to do that taper up top and the taper on the bottom, and that few extra 2.5 inches will allow for that taper. And then I'll come along whenever all the sheets are on here, I'll come along, pop a chalk line, and follow that chalk line with the skill saw, making it all perfect down below. Alright, now I'm fixing to do some very careful measuring and do all that. Alright, y'all, I told you I was going to cut it 96.5 inches long, but that's kind of impossible because a sheet of plywood's only 96 inches long. So I ain't got a wood stretcher, so we're just going to do it 96. I've already got the taper. This is the 1 9/16 taper on the top. Tapers down to that corner, so I'm going to cut this off. That's going to be the bottom down there, but I'm not going to cut that taper right now. I'm going to go out and trial fit it with this taper, and we'll do that taper next. But hey, if I screw up on this sheet of wood, good news, I got 2 more sheets to get it right on, and I'll use this sheet of wood that I screwed up on further on down the line where the carport gets more narrow. So, but we're hoping to get it right on this first try. Yeah, the mail lady just dropped off the drain plug I need for the back of my hoop. So now I can put these drain, it only takes one, put this drain plug in the back of my hoop and go in water without water coming in the back. Cool. Alright, got 3 sheets on. Cut the top, it's a little bit wavy. I don't know how I did. I guess I suck at cutting at a skill saw because I used a skill saw, but it looks like I used a jigsaw. But anyway, got the taper pretty much right up there. You can see the 2 inches of overhang made it where this bottom corner hit the bottom of the 2x4 stud. I guess, I don't know if you'd call it a footer or whatever. Anyway, that pressure treated 2x4 I put on the slab when I framed it all out. The bottom of this sheet comes perfectly to the bottom of that, and it allowed me to have the taper up top. Got a couple inches of overhang down over here that's going to be cut off whenever I get all the sheets on. I mentioned I'm going to hook a chalk line up there, run it across all the way out to the end, pop a chalk line, and then cut all that off with the skill saw where it's all smooth. But yeah, alright, well I got 1.5 more sheets to go. And this next one, they're both going to be funky. It's going to be, both of them's just going to be just like this, where they got angles at the top and angles at the bottom, but the back of it's going to be straight up and down. So, alright, here we go. Alright, for this 4th sheet, this end from top to bottom needs to be 94. This outside sheet the outside edge needs to be 93 1.25. And from the top where the sheets meet out 4 foot, there's a 2.25 inch drop. Yeah, this would be the high side. The outside will be 2.25 inches lower on the top, and for the bottom, from here to there, it's 1.75 inch drop. So I'm just gonna cut the angle on the top of the sheet just like I did this one. I'm gonna leave the bottom square and cut it off later. Alright, y'all, we got the 4th sheet in. It was a funky one just like the last one, but we got her in. Got a half sheet to do, and the half sheet that I don't use will be used on the other side whenever I close that other side in. So I ain't losing nothing by only using a half sheet. Yeah, looking good. It has been drizzling all day, and I can tell you, I'm gonna reward myself with a frosty adult beverage after I get this last half sheet on. So, alright, here we go. Y'all, this is what's aggravating about working behind people. See the gap? See the level? Shows level. Look at the gap between the level and the 4x4 corner post here that's in the concrete. And it's levels touching at the top of the post. You got a good 1/2 inch gap right here, 4 foot down. So that's probably a dang full inch out down at the bottom. So this 4x4 post is in concrete, so it's, I guess you could say the bottom of this is right, being it's in concrete, but the top is a full inch out. And that's been the running theme with this house. Trying to do any kind of construction around this house, you're like, dang, whoever built this house, built this shop, they didn't use dang levels, squares, plumb bobs. Not that I'm an expert builder at all. I just kind of fumble my way along, but hell, I think levels and plumb bobs and squares was around in the 50s. So, but anyway, that's we're getting it going. So, half a sheet to go. Like a glove. Alright, got the last piece in. Now I gotta go along the bottom and screw the bottom down there, but I'm gonna leave that for a day where it's a little bit drier outside. But I got a couple pieces of trim. I got a piece of trim to go from the top to the bottom, and down here I'm going to peel this little, I don't know, it's probably about 1.5 inches wide by 1/8 inch thick or something like that. I'm going to peel it off, and I got a wide piece of trim that'll go from the old to the new. I'm going to split the difference. And alright, well, that's what I'm going to do now. Thanks for sticking with me so far. There's a piece of trim done on the where the old meets new. Put the screws at the same level as the other ones. On up. Alright, so that's done. I just need to measure and cut for this one right here. I'm just going to put it, I'm going to have it flush here. So, because I don't know how I'm going to finish this, because I want to have gates that open and close and all that. So I'm just going to put a piece of trim here for now, that right there, and then maybe the future piece of trim will come across the face here and come out to the edge of the trim I'm about to do. But I don't know how I'm going to do the gate hinges, what I'm going to make it out of. I don't know if I'm going to have metal gates or what. So I'll just put the trim here and it'll look finished from the road, and then I can worry about the gates later. Alright, y'all, how we do? Y'all have motivated me to get it done. So I got her did. This one wall anyway. I want to show y'all something. Look at the there's the piece of trim I put. It's about flush up there. Look how far it sticks out down here. And that's perfectly level. That's with me putting the level up against it and making the level perfect, and screwing it to it. That's how far off that post is. But at least it looks right from this side. Had I pushed the piece of trim up against the 4x4 post and made it flush with the post top to bottom and screwed it to it, then you would notice a difference where the edge of the trim is to this first line they've got shaved out in the wood. It'd be closer together. I guess, what would it be? It would be closer together on the bottom, I think, and further apart on the top, and probably nobody in the whole world would notice but me. But so that's why I did it that way. But on my last video, Confer Motorsports suggested that I have barley and hops rewards for my progress. So this one's for you, Confer Motorsports. I appreciate you watching and commenting, and I appreciate everybody watching and commenting, telling me I'm a dumbass, giving me thumbs down, giving me thumbs up, all that stuff. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. This one's for y'all. Oh my God, that tastes so good. Y'all have a good one and be safe out there. Hopefully tomorrow I can get back up on top of the houseboat if it's not raining. Y'all be... Wait just a second. I was going to end the video there, but I got to tell y'all about something. Whenever I first started framing this carport in, I let slip that I was wanting to put either a drill press or a mill drill in that corner right there. And that's not gonna happen. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not gonna get a big floor mounted drill press. I got a countertop drill press now and I don't really like it. I want a big floor mount one, and I definitely would love to have a mill drill. But I've got something on order that I ordered actually before, probably about a week or a week and a half before I got the hoot. And it's on its way from California, and it's a machine that I've wanted forever, and it will make my life a lot easier with certain things, certain hobbies we have. I'll say that, and of course I'll be able to help my friends out because all my friends got the same hobbies we got with the side-by-sides and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get long-winded about it, but I'm going to give up my mill drill floor mount drill press spot for this machine that I ordered from, it's on its way from California now, and I'm going to have to upgrade my compressor to run this machine. Maybe I'll do the thing where the YouTubers, they always say, they'll ask you a question and say, leave what you think it is in the comments. So that's what I'm going to do. What do you think is the machine that I'm going to put in that corner where I have to upgrade my compressor? Alrighty. So now I'm out of here. I'm letting y'all go. Thank you for suffering through the video. Y'all have a good one.